Guys, this is what women really think when you are posting on their selfies. Before I get into today's video, please do subscribe. Trying to build up that subscriber watch time, which is always important to the YouTube algorithm. And thanks to everyone who's been watching and commenting and been along for the ride. So, what do women really think when guys are giving all of their compliments, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, etc., all over their selfies? So first and foremost, it all depends on how she thinks of the guy. But in the most case, like when it's a random stranger doing this, they have no connection, it just comes off as pathetic and thirsty. Like it really does. And if anything, if you don't know her and you're doing this, it signals to her, he's not making me earn his attention or approval. And what's given freely is rarely appreciated. And these men, and this is the reason why it's not so good, because you might think to yourself, I'm just spreading goodwill into the universe. It's like, actually, no. You're disrespecting yourself because you're breaking a principle of radical self-respect. One of the principles of radical self-respect is never give your attention, approval, or love freely, because what is given freely is rarely appreciated. Disobey that principle at your own risk. So other things, what else is going on? These guys that do this, they're under the mistaken impression, like the golden rule would say, treat others how you would want to be treated. So there's a really attractive woman. The guy thinks to himself, I would really like it if she said I was handsome or dapper or mine, so she must think the same thing. It's like, actually, no. That's why they have the platinum rule. The platinum rule is, don't treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way they want to be treated. And for everyone, it's different. And so for women, here's the thing. A woman will like a compliment from a guy she's already into. And he might say the same exact thing as 99 other dudes, but she's into him, so it matters. So here's one rule I think guys should go by if they don't know a girl. But before you ever say you're gorgeous or you're beautiful on one of her selfies, like, did she even like or comment on anything of yours? Because if she hasn't, chances are she doesn't care too much. And if you're really going to try to break it in with her, like and try to get into her sphere, don't compliment her on her selfie. Look for an opinion of hers that she's given somewhere, something else, and maybe comment on that. But don't just be one of the mindless sheep telling her she's gorgeous and beautiful, right? Because it's just not going to go anywhere. Now, the kinds of compliments that women do appreciate are from the gay guys because they know it's genuine. They also know it's genuine often from other girlfriends when they say things like, oh, you go girl, etc. But for the guys who don't know her, it's just meaningless. And the guy's disrespecting himself, in my opinion, for giving away his attention and approval so easily. I don't think it's right. And so men, think about this the next time you see a very attractive woman. And think of this principle too. The women like the attention. They do. But like to each individual who's giving it, a lot of times they could care less about them. They just do. Now, the more attractive the woman is, the more true that is. The less that the woman will really care about each individual person just dripping with thirst. Now, say if there's a woman who's like really insecure, or maybe isn't that attractive, she will appreciate the compliments more. It's just human nature. But to these women who are really attractive, that really like the attention, and may friend request and accept friend requests from anyone, yeah, they like all that attention. But they could really care less about the people giving it. And you see countless examples of this everywhere. And the women see them and they're like, ugh. Like, oh yeah, I like giving his attention, but they also like rejecting those guys too. Because women, I've heard, they'll tell me, they'll go out about in the town just to look good and to get attention, but then to reject people. It makes them feel good about themselves. It's a big reason why a lot of women are on dating apps too, because they get an abundance of attention, but then they can feel good about themselves for rejecting it. Now, granted, all women are not this way. Not all. But there are many who are. So guys, be very conservative with your compliments with women. Especially ones you don't know. Like, just don't do it. Like, you're coming off as pathetic and thirsty. And if you say, oh, I'm just being nice, why can't I spread niceness to the world? It's like, people only want you to be nice when they value you first. If they don't value you first, being nice to them is meaningless, right? You don't, because people do not appreciate what is given freely. Rarely, they just don't. So make yourself in a position where your approval and your attention is valuable. And how do you do that? You give it conservatively. You don't just give it to anyone who just looks good, right? Maybe you actually will look for an intellectual connection first. Don't just be one of the fish, one of the sheep just mindlessly saying how attractive a woman is. It's like, nah, have a little more respect for yourself. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in that weak position to be one of those guys. Like, bring something else to the table. Make the woman earn something from you. Don't just give it so freely. Because your attention and your approval should be valuable. Act like it. So I'll be very curious what other people's opinions are about this kind of topic. And if you agree, disagree, please let me know. But I'll be very curious to see. So with that, have a good one.